polls have even closed. There's been a victory for Donald Trump. The state of Colorado was in a fight to keep him off the ballot entirely for his role in the Capitol riots on January 6th. But the US Supreme Court struck it down.
You cannot take somebody out of a race because an opponent would like to have it that way. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the leading candidate, whether it was the leading candidate or a candidate that was well down on the totem pole. You cannot take somebody out of a race.
Despite Donald Trump's massive lead, his Republican opponent is undeterred.
We had 14 people in the race. I defeated a dozen of the fellas. I just have one more fella I gotta catch up to.
The question after Super Tuesday is whether Nikki Haley quits the race or decides to hang on.
I voted for Donald Trump.
Today, I'm joined by Australian author and journalist Latika Paul. And later on, David Knowles speaks with author and journalist Mark Hollingworth. I started with the latest military updates from Ukraine. So the big news of the day is Ukrainian sea drones have sunk another Russian Black Sea Fleet patrol ship off the coast of occupied Crimea. This is coming out of Kyiv this morning. Ukraine's military intelligence agency said that a unit that called Group 13 attacked the Russian Black Sea Fleet patrol ship, the Sergei Kotov, near the Kerch Strait. It was running down the southeast of Crimea, very close to the Kerch Strait and Kerch Bridge. So in a statement, Ukraine's AH2 said, as a result of a strike by Magura V5 maritime drones, the Russian ship Project 22160 Sergei Kotov sustained damage to the stern, starboard and port sides. I'm Dom Nichols, and this is Ukraine, the latest. Today we hear about the latest Russian Black Sea Fleet ship to be sunk and take a look at how the war is viewed in Australia.
Bravery takes you through the most unimaginable hardships to finally reward you with victory.
If we give President Zelensky the tools, the Ukrainians will finish the job. Slava Ukraini!
Nobody's going to break us. Yes.
I started with the latest military updates from Ukraine. 2 years and 10 days since the full-scale invasion began. Quite some time. It's very tricky to sell yachts and hotels and all the rest of it. But grabbing the interest on the frozen assets is a lot easier. It's just a financial transfer that even if you get it wrong and it's overturned in years to come, it's just a cash transaction. So go for the money, the interest on the frozen assets.
Your next stop is PTP. For about 43 kilometers, continue straight on.
To do it. Right, everybody, including me, has heard enough of me right now, so I'm delighted to be joined by journalist and author Latika Paul, formerly of the Sydney Morning Herald, among others. Latika, I want to take the temperature of Australia and hear more in a moment about the Putin fascination syndrome, as you describe it. First though, any thoughts on the German hack and leak? And Australia used to say...
I created your note. It's called Track 17 and 12.
Hey Siri,
European Union budget from 20...
make a note.
What do you want it to say?
12, 17 and 12, 29.
Okay, I created your note. It's called 1217 and 1229.
25 to 27. This new programme is going to invite EU member states to procure at least 40% of their defence equipment collectively by 2030, the EU Commission said in a statement. So that'll get the EU army buffs in a froth, but I think if there's a pot of money and a will to do something with it, that's a good start. The Commission also proposed to use a share of the profits made on frozen Russian assets to fund arms purchases for Ukraine, a point we've been talking about. The industry has shifted to what they call a war economy mode. European Commissioner for Internal Market Thierry Breton has presented a specific proposal to the bloc's members to jointly buy from European arms companies and increase the production capacities of firms. Monsieur Breton said, "We need to change the paradigm and move into war economy mode. This also means that the European defence industry must take more risks with our support." Interesting. "In the current geopolitical context, Europe must take greater responsibility for its own security, regardless of the outcome of our allies' elections every 4 years." Clearly a nod there to the upcoming election in most notably the US. Now, the European Commission today has proposed a new €1.5 billion euro defence industry programme financed for the...
Make a note. 12, 17 and 12, 29.
What do you want it to say?
12, 17 and 12, 29.
Okay.
It also said the ship was worth about $65 million, which is of interest, but I think largely irrelevant. It doesn't really matter how much these things cost for now. I think it's the damage they can do. We think there's mixed reports that a KA-29 transport and combat helicopter might have been on board. It should have been on board. That's what they routinely carry. And there are reports that one of those went down with the ship. This is one of these. It's a coaxial helicopter, so it hasn't got a tail rotor. It's got two main rotors going in different directions to counterbalance whatever it is, Newton's second law or what have you. So smaller. The point I'm making is it's a small helicopter. It doesn't have a big tail boom and can fit neatly on the back of a ship. Now then, Andrei Yermak, who's President Zelensky's chief of staff, he said on Telegram, "The Russian Black Sea Fleet is a symbol of occupation. It cannot be in the Ukrainian Crimea." There is footage online. We've got it on our website at the moment. It is less clear, a bit fuzzy, a bit more edited, if you like, a bit broken up. It's less clear than in recent...
It's called National Park 1455. In about 10 kilometers, turn left onto 4020. starting route to Ban Nong Koaniu School. For about 18 kilometers, continue straight on.
Hey Siri, make a note.
What do you want it to say?
Time at 1433.
Okay, I've created your note. It's called time at 1433.